Good day. Have you ever felt like you're constantly starting over? You do something, you get some momentum going, and then you get knocked off track. Life happens, you get sidetracked, or you start beating yourself up. But for whatever reason, you had a goal, something that really meant something to you, and then you get off track. It doesn't happen. Now, what happens here? What's going on? Because you want something but you're not getting it and you feel terrible about it, right? It could be a diet, it could be some goal you have, a financial goal. And instead of achieving it, you feel like a failure and you actually feel worse than if you didn't even try to do the goal at all. Now, if you keep that pattern up, you're probably not going to be taking on a lot of big goals, a lot of big challenges. You're going to be more resistant to be like, well, do I really want to do this? Because remember, when you make a promise to yourself, and setting up a goal is a promise, and you break that promise to yourself, you just kind of chip away at your own trust in yourself, your own self-trust. And you start thinking, well, will I really do this? Will I really be able to follow through and get this done? And that is what I want to talk to you about today. Because most people, when they fail or struggle, it's not because they're lazy, it's not because they're unmotivated. They're failing because of something that's hitting them that they're unaware of. And I call this the resistance loop. And it's something you can escape, but you have to be able to understand what it is. Now, for me, just think about this for a second. Have you started something you wanted to do and you've started it maybe multiple times, but then it didn't happen? And was it because you didn't care? Most likely, no. It was because you were losing that self trust in yourself. You were losing some steam, losing some momentum. And how do you get around that? And what is going on so you can be aware of it? Well, I want to show you a graphic here. It should be here. I don't see it. Maybe I'll need to add a file here real fast because I don't see it. I'm not sure, it should have been here. I guess this is a part of live that you think you have everything planned out, but doesn't. Okay, here is what I wanted to show you. Is you the resistance loop is you have initial motivation. You're excited about something, you want to do it, you get that fired up going, but then what happens is, you know, you get this short-term burst of activity, but it's not sustained. Okay, you get initial motivation, initial burst here. So that's step 1 and 2. Okay, you're really excited there, but then what happens? You set a goal, you get fired up about something, and then life happens. You get some kind of disruption. Maybe your refrigerator breaks. Maybe your car doesn't work. Maybe you get reassigned a job. Something happens. Maybe it's a physical injury or you get a financial setback, but something happens. Some kind of emotional thing happens, a financial thing, and you get disrupted here. And so that throws you off and you get derailed. Maybe your alarm doesn't go off one morning. And so you're just like, well, I guess I can miss my exercise this morning. No big deal. Then the fourth step happens is once you get disrupted there, then you start judging yourself, you start feeling shame and guilt, and you're like, oh my goodness, here we go again. I can't keep my exercise routine in the morning, or this always happens to me when I'm trying to do X, right? So you really start beating yourself up here on step 4 because disruption happens, right? You set up something and you're going to get disrupted. The economy's going to change, things are going to happen, someone's going to have a health issue. So it's not that disruptions are you're going to be able to avoid them, but how do you respond to them and how do you interact with them? And here you're seeing it as a failure. And then what happens is you have inaction. So if you miss one workout, well, then you miss a second one, then you miss a week, then you miss a month. And then you get this gap between where you want to be and where you are, or where you were and where you are. And that gap just makes you feel like you're further and further behind. And then you want to restart, but you feel like nothing's actually changed, like you haven't made any progress. But then maybe a new idea will come up, a new opportunity. You'll get some initial motivation. You'll go through this whole cycle again. But then when it fails, you feel like a failure rather than realizing you're just on this loop here, you're on this reset loop. Now, it doesn't have to be that way. And what you can do is look at a different option, because you don't have to be being on this loop. You can break the loop. And when you break the loop, then you're going to start building your self-trust. You're going to believe in yourself more, and you're going to be able to see, like, when these disruptions happen, when life happens, okay, that's not a signal that I'm a complete failure. What it is a signal that, hey, I need to make some adjustments, or if I have an off day, no big deal. Just don't build that chain going. Keep getting back to what you were doing, okay? So if we look at the other one here, the momentum loop, and hopefully that one's here. Okay, here it is. When we look at the momentum loop, the first thing you'll notice here is it's talking about your identity first. So decide who you want to become. Do you want to be a fit person? Do you want to be a person that achieves their goals? I mean, whatever it is, decide, like, what identity do I really want to embrace? And then no matter what happens, you're going to be okay, because when life hits you, you're going to just know, well, I'm the type of person that does X or Y or Z. So you've got that identity, and then you want to anchor the execution. So you're going to have structure over emotion. Like, motivation can come and go, right? But like for me, I have something called the Ivy Lee method, and I did not invent this, but it's like I pick my top 5 things of what do I need to do, and I have AI help me with that to sort through, okay, these are your priorities, this is what you said you want to do, this is what you're doing, and I can have that structure. So every morning I get my top 5 things, and I can say, okay, yeah, this is aligned up with me, this is great, this is perfect, and I get rolling, right? The next one is the personalized awareness. Are you aware of actually what's going on and what works for you? Because something that works for me may or may not work for you. But when you see that, okay, this is actually customized to me and it's going to work for me, then you're going to feel more motivated. And even if you do have a dip or a setback, you're going to know, okay, this is designed for me, and I've built that into it. The next thing is resilient moments. Okay, you don't have to be resilient all the time. I remember a speech where someone said you don't have to be brave all the time. You just need to be brave a few seconds here and there. And if you are brave in those moments, then that'll get you through. So it's not like you have to be brave all the time, and you don't have to be resilient all the time. But when you get a setback, you need to be resilient in those few moments to get you back going. And number 5 is review and realign. So here you're reviewing your identity. Who do I think I am? Who do I want to be? And then am I aligning with that, or do I need to realign? And then the last one is number 6. You're going to compound your confidence. Success is built upon success. Yes, we're going to have setbacks, we're going to have failures, but if you fail and fail and fail and fail and fail, that's not going to be very motivating for you, right? If you never reach your goal, you're probably not going to be that excited to continue on. But we have to realize that that's how I do it, and I'm going to build my confidence, and then that's going to strengthen my identity. So hopefully you can see a major difference in these 2 different loops on what you're seeing. Now, as we go forward, some of us feel like progress should be linear, right? Like if there's a point here and a point here, we think we should just go right up there, right? But if you look at the stock market, if you look at weight loss, if you look at anything, it's usually not a straight line. it's more of a jagged, right? But you'll see the trend going in the way that you want. And so what you have to realize is that progress is not going to be a straight line. It's going to be jagged. It's going to be up and down. And that's okay, as long as I realize when I go in one of these dips, it's not like the end all. It's not like I'm falling down. Just like if I invested in Microsoft, it's generally gone up over time, right? But if you look at any one moment or any one day or week, I mean, it could have gone down, but the general trend is up. So that's what we have to realize for ourselves, is that we're not going to be perfect. We're going to have up and down. Just look at the way the trend is going. And then you have to say, like, I am someone who finishes. A lot of us will say things like, I'm someone who doesn't finish things. I'm someone that doesn't get it done. And when you do that, you're activating the part of you that's going to make it more difficult to do that in the future. And you can't think of it as a flaw. I don't know anyone who finishes everything. Maybe there's a person out there. I'm just not aware of them. So it's not a flaw. It's just a signal that maybe you weren't aligned with what you were supposed to do. Maybe there was something better. There's some reason why you don't do that. Like, I know if you say a young kid can't wake up in the morning and they can't get out of bed, but then it's like time to go fishing or time to go to Disneyland or something like this, and all of a sudden they can wake up at 5 a.m. So it's not that you can't do something. It's like, are you aligned with it? And then the last thing is this feeling of, I have to start over. And remember, you're not starting over. If I've exercised for 3 months and then I quit for a week and then I start back up again, I don't have to beat myself up. It's not like I didn't have any kind of exercise going here. What happened was I built my body up, right? I've gotten better, but I didn't necessarily drop back down to zero. And that's important for you to realize. The next thing I want to show you is Mount Chosen. And on this right here, this is a graphic, because this Mount Chosen it only appears when you want to reach a goal, when you have something that you're going for. And if you look at it here, this person is like you. They're at the bottom here. And in the beginning, remember, you have the initial motivation, excitement, energy going. And so you're going up the hill here, okay? But then what happens to all of us? We hit a plateau. This one here is a fairly short plateau, but your plateau could be longer, right? Now, when you're at the plateau, the thing that feels terrible is you feel like, oh, I went back to the starting point. But you're not at the starting point. You're halfway up the mountain. And then what will happen is you'll hit a dip. You'll go down. You'll have some setbacks. Something will happen. And you'll feel even worse. You'll feel like, oh my goodness, I'm not even at this plateau point anymore. I've gone down. But if you keep going forward, yeah, you'll have to climb out of there. You'll have to get back up. But in doing so, you're going to keep moving forward. And what we have to realize in this mountain that we chose to go up is that it's going to have some peaks and valleys. If you notice at the top corner up there, it's got even more jagged edges, right? So just like the stock market, it's going to go up and down. And when you hit one of those bumps, when you go down a little bit, you have to realize, okay, that is not a permanent down. That's just a temporary thing. It's just what the terrain is. It's how life happens, right? It's not a straight line. So on this right here, just realize that you're going to face this mountain every time you decide to face a big obstacle. Every time you decide, okay, I'm going to go for something big and I'm going to see what happens with that. Now, next, what we have is you have to decide, which pattern do I want? Do I want to be on this one here where I have motivation, I get excited, but disruption happens. Then I have guilt and shame. I beat myself up. I have inaction, or I just quit doing it altogether. And then I feel worse, and I feel like a false restart here, and I start over. You have to decide, do I want to do that one, or do I want to look at this one and look at what is my identity? Who do I think I am? Because if I think I'm someone that's a quitter, or I think I'm someone that doesn't have what it takes, or I think I'm someone who's going to struggle with this, or life is hard, if that's my identity right off the bat, well, I've set myself up to fail. But if I've set myself up to believe in my ability to figure things out, I believe that this is doable. If we can put a man on the moon, we can do this. If I have this type of attitude, and then I realize I need some kind of a structure. For me, again, it's that Ivy Lee method where I get my 5 top things that are going to be the tongue twisted here, the needle movers, and that's going to be what I focus on. And then I personalize that to see, okay, what is going to actually work for me. And then I'm resilient. And remember, you don't have to be resilient all the time, just in those moments, a few moments a day when they look at stuff. It's not like all the time. And then review and then say, okay, am I aligned with what I want? Is this really what I thought? Because sometimes when you go down a path, you realize, holy moly, this is not what I wanted. I didn't want to do this. Okay. And if it is, great. Then you're going to be compounding your confidence. Even if you decide, oh, this isn't the path I wanted to go, you're going to be more confident in the new path that you go down. So as we look at this here, I want to share a message from Alaric.
You were never starting from scratch. You were evolving in a spiral, returning to familiar ground. Yes, but each time with more wisdom, more strength, more truth. What felt like failure was never the end. It was a refining fire, shaping you in ways progress alone never could. Every delay, every detour, every moment you wanted to quit, it was teaching you how to return without shame, how to walk forward without fear. Because momentum isn't built in perfection. It's built in the decision to resume, with grace, with courage, and with full awareness of who you're becoming. So no, you don't need to start over. You need to start from here. Exactly where your next breakthrough begins.
And what I really want from you, or for you, is a momentum that is sustainable, that grows and works with you. So just realize, like, when you're doing something, you're going to have ups and downs, and that's okay. Just, am I on a trajectory that's in general moving me in the direction I want? And there's going to be lots of times when I'm off course, or I hit a pothole, or I go down. And that doesn't mean I'm a loser. It doesn't mean I'm not capable. It just means I needed a little course correction right then and there, or I needed to have that resilience in that moment there, because we can all do this. Now, for me, what I've been using this on is AI. I've been having AI help me to be more resilient, to be more aware of these patterns, so that I can see, where am I doing well? And quite frankly, where am I struggling? Or where could I do better? Where do I start things? And then where do I stop things? Now, it doesn't mean that some things you don't need to stop, right? If you're doing something and it's the wrong way, or it's not what is going to get you the best results, sometimes it does make sense to stop. But you want to make that from a choice of, I've looked at things and this is what's best for me, rather than just feeling like defeated, giving up. And that's a totally different energy there, versus saying, oh no, you know what? Like me, let's say I do these daily lives for 3 months, 6 months, whatever, and it's not working. Then I can make a course correction and say, I'm going to change and do this direction. But if I just stop after 3 weeks and say, oh, enough, people aren't watching this, or this isn't happening, or it's not what I thought it would be, and I give up because I feel it's not working, that's different than looking at it systematically and seeing, like, what should I do? So hopefully that helps you. If you want to know more on how you can use personalized AI for you, you can attend my free live webinar on Saturday morning at infinityshift.com/register. And you can see how you can make personalized AI, because this whole presentation today was created through AI. And I used it to look at myself, look at people I've worked with, look at patterns, and see, like, what is something that would actually help people? What would be something that would help them see, okay, this is a struggle, but it doesn't have to be, or we can make it better for you so that you can actually reach your goals. So if you like this, write a comment, share this, let me know, or send me an email. I appreciate you being here. All the best to you. Have a great day.